What is up, everybody? We are live. You're very welcome along to Anfield Agenda on the day that Liverpool signed Diogo Jota from Wolves for a fee rising up to about £45-46 million. And obviously, Kylian Hoover going in the opposite direction. As you can see, I've got a very special guest today. Delighted to say I'm joined by Dave as a party, founding member of Talking Wolves and researcher for Football Manager. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm brilliant. I'm not going to lie. It's been one hell of a 24 hours, mate, being a Liverpool fan. Unbelievably, you probably wouldn't believe this, but there was a little bit of petulance growing in our fan base. We won the league at the canter. Things are going well, but we didn't see those signings coming. And then all of a sudden, 24 hours is a very crazy time in football. And look, there's loads for us to get through, Dave. I want to talk about your season moving forward. Obviously, I want to talk about this deal, but our viewers are going to want to know what exactly are Liverpool getting in Diogo Jota?
Well, Diogo was a very, very good footballer, I think. He came to Wolves 3 years ago when we were in the Championship. He just had a season with Porto on loan from Atletico Madrid, playing Champions League football, playing quite regularly for Porto. So for him to drop down to the Championship at the time was quite a surprise in itself. I think Wolves signed him for just under £15 million. And I think he was our top goal scorer that season in all competitions. So obviously we walked that league, got promoted. First season in the Championship again. First season in the Premier League, finished second top goal scorer behind Raul Jimenez. And then last season as well, despite him in some Wolves' eyes not having a great season, finishing second top goal scorer again. So his goals in them, playing predominantly as a left winger, or if we played with two strikers, he'd play up front with Jimenez. Last season, he was a little bit inconsistent. He had a spell of probably 3 or 4 games before lockdown where he was untouchable, he was unbelievable. And then after lockdown, he really struggled to break back into the team. And I think that's happened again this year, this season. Nuno wants to change how we play, our system and so on. And it sounds like Jota's not going to quite get the game time that I think he would want as a winger. We've got Adama Traore, Pedro Neto, and Daniel Podence all ahead of him now. So I think Jota knows he wants regular football. And even as a backup, if he's a backup at Wolves, or a backup at Liverpool, Premier League champions, I know probably which one I'd prefer as well. So in terms of how he plays, though, such a quick player, quite deceivingly quick. You know, he's one of those players that on the ball, he's so quick with the ball. He's so aggressive. He's so hard to challenge and tackle. Like defenders just bounce off him. It's crazy. And he'll win a lot of fouls for Liverpool. And I think with how you guys play with the front three, I think he's going to be adequate competition for Mane and Salah. Probably not at that level yet. But very adequate competition and backup, and possibly even a player that could fight Firmino for a place in the striker position. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he fits into Liverpool's plans. He was really good for Wolves in the Europa League last season, which obviously for you guys in the Champions League, it'll be intriguing to see how he gets on. But as I say, his main issue is consistency, but his ceiling is very, very high. A lot of Wolves fans expected him to become our player of the season last year. He didn't quite hit the heights I think a lot of us wanted, but the potential is still definitely there.
Well, you touched on the parallel to Bobby Firmino, and that's exactly what I thought of when I heard of this signing. It's one of those that wasn't on any Liverpool fans' lips. There wasn't much talk of it in the media, and then all of a sudden the deal's getting announced, and I was sitting here thinking that is genius. I can absolutely see where Diogo Jota fits into Jurgen Klopp's thinking. Versatile, as you said, can play right across the front three. And there is almost shades of Bobby Firmino about him. He's got a very high work rate. Nuno demands a lot of his players, and I think we'll get the exact same. One thing that raised a few eyes, obviously, was the fee. Now, we spoke off air beforehand, and the fee does seem a bit high, but that's because of the way the deal's structured. From my end, what I'm hearing is about just under 10% up front, somewhere about $4.5 million, and the rest structured over the course of the deal. And you said it's not unusual for Wolves to enter into these type of deals.
No. It sounds like, and obviously I've read a little bit more into it. I've seen it before, like when you look at clubs' accounts and stuff like that, the installments that Wolves do is they do it quite a lot, and a lot of deals are put in installments. I think a lot of clubs do it, to be fair, but it's probably not documented as much as you would expect. But this one is a really strange one. I think, Nuno said at the start of summer that he would have been, as long as Wolves got an adequate amount of money for Jota, he would have been happy to move him on. I think Wolves would have accepted a fee of 35 million up front. And like you said earlier on, I don't think Liverpool would have had that cash to just pass across straight away. So Wolves have obviously brokered and structured a deal with Liverpool for 45 million with add-ons. but to pay just 10%, so about 4.5 million in the first year, and obviously spread over a number of years. So yeah, I think like Helder Costa, when Wolves sold him to Leeds, they're doing the same deal. I think 15 million across 3 years. So it's not unusual for Wolves, but I think Liverpool are getting themselves a good deal, and obviously spread over a number of years. It'll be really interesting to see how it works out and if he can live up to that overall fee.
What's the feeling from Wolves fans about this one? Because we'll touch on Kylian Hoover in a minute, because there was actually some sadness from our side, from a lot of Liverpool fans, because we hold him in quite high esteem. But from the Wolves' point of view, there was a lot of talk about Traore. Obviously, I had heard that his agent was trying to get that £63 million price tag lowered, and we all know agents love to move players on. But it did come as a shock to me that Jota was the one that was likely to move. I'd heard links with Jimenez and Atletico Madrid gone back a while as well. Obviously, a lot of clubs interested in Adama, but from Wolves fans, are they disappointed to see him go? Do they think it's a fair deal?
It's a bit of a mixed reaction in the fan base, to be fair. Like you say, it was a deal that came out of nowhere. Like most Wolves deals this year, I think every single one of our transfers, we've signed 4 players now, and all of them have been announced within 48 hours of the first report dropping. So Hoover was the same owner yesterday. Fabio Silva, when Wolves signed him a couple of weeks ago, was the same day. Marcel was within 24 hours. So all of them are just so quick. And same with the Jota deal. I'd assume this was going on behind closed doors, possibly for a week or so, hence why he hadn't played for Wolves in either the Cup or the first game of the season. But yeah, it's a real split between the fans. There was a number of fans that I think are fairly happy with the fee just because of his inconsistency over the last year or so. But then there's a big number of fans as well that know how good he can be. So I think they're just, and I think part of that is they're worried that we're not going to sort of replace Jota. I don't think we're in the market, and it's been said that we're not looking to directly replace him right now. We may wait till January to do that. So I think that's probably where a lot of the worry comes from with Wolves fans. But it is a real split in the fan base. You'll probably go on Twitter and see some fans that are happy with it and some fans that are pretty disappointed with the move.
From our side, obviously, there's a massive Portuguese connection at Wolves, as we know. But from our side, we have Pep Linders, who worked at Porto. I think he coached Ruben Neves for 6 years at underage level there. And he reached out to his contacts and seemed to get nothing but glowing references about Jota as a person and the way he conducts himself. What's your take on that side of things from a Wolves perspective? Has he always conducted himself well? Any problems that you think we need to know about?
No, that sounds about right. He seems very down to earth. I've met him a couple of times at like ceremonies and stuff. Never obviously much personal, but yeah, he's never been one to cause much trouble. A lot of the Portuguese lads that we've signed are just so level-headed. Like they don't get in. You look at the young England lads or whatever happened, on the international breaks. But the Portuguese lads, like a lot of them now, Jota's missus is, they're younger than me. And Jota's missus is pregnant. Ruben Neves is having his 3rd kid already. It's ridiculous. Like they're so mature and down to earth, and they just know what they're doing. But their work rate is bang on as well, like you've said earlier. So all they want to do is get their head down, play football, and show what they're about.